Welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest. Today we're at the Capitol in Salem and we're talking to your elected leaders about what they're working on for your district. My guest today is Senator Jeff Kruse. He's a longtime Republican senator serving in District 1 in Roseburg. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
I've been reading your electronic newsletter that you send out, which keeps us all updated, and you are concerned about the serious matters coming to the table in this short session.
I am, and quite honestly, the short session was designed specifically for some cleanup issues and budget adjustments because it's tweaking because it's 35 days. And for example, most of the committees had 4 committee hearings to move bills out, and you really can't get into a whole lot of depth in that. However, they seem to think that they want to move a whole lot of big issues this session.
Well, and for viewers who don't know, you budget on a biannual basis.
Right.
So you hit the budget hard one year, and then this is the year when you do your minor adjustments and then move forward into the heavy budgeting again next year.
Okay. Some of the budget adjustments aren't necessarily minor, like rebalance in Department of Human Services and the Oregon Health Authority. Those 2 budgets alone, the rebalance has a price tag of about $200 million on it. So there are some big things, but they do have to be dealt with because they're the budget issues. It used to be that the E-Board, the Emergency Board, which is a budget committee, would deal with them in the interim, but now we're dealing with them in this short session.
And you're concerned about the plans to now have the nation's highest minimum wage.
Yes, we do. And it passed yesterday in the House. It was a Senate bill. It started there. And the governor's going to sign it. We know that. And they're all celebrating. And the problem with that is they aren't looking at all the repercussions, and they're choosing not to. We, in the Senate, we tried to get them to look, for example, at the impact this is going to have on seniors on fixed income, on people with disabilities, because that impact's going to be significant, and they chose not to. I mean, this is one of those cases where emotion trumps logic, and what they have been saying the whole time through this is everybody deserves a living wage. You know, it's hard to argue with that, but you got to look at all of the repercussions as well.
Well, it does have an incremental phase-in process. So.
But we already have that. With a ballot measure that was passed a decade ago, our minimum wage goes up kind of with the cost of living every year already. And that's been working really well. What was interesting is all of the major newspapers in the state came out against the bill we just passed. I mean, even some of those who tend to be a lot more liberal said this is not a good thing to do.
Well, Oregon's now going to pass Washington, which has historically had the highest minimum wage in the country, and you're saying there that's not working so well for everyone in Seattle.
No, what we're finding, and Seattle's its own unique universe there, and what we're finding there is that a lot of people who are at the minimum wage, now that it's been increased, are finding that they're no longer eligible for some of the federal benefits they were getting, and some people are asking for their hours to be reduced so they can still qualify for Section 8 housing or whatever programs they were on. So that's an interesting dynamic too.
That is, and it's something I think people don't think about, because if you do have a livable wage, ideally you're in that ideal position where you can pay your own bills and provide for your family, and you don't need to turn to other government services. But if you're accustomed to that, it would be something you wouldn't expect to lose.
Well,
I can see how that would be an afterthought.
Okay. The problem with the federal programs is you're either qualified or you're not. You don't ramp up or down in them. So for a lot of these folks, quite honestly, if their wage raise is above the level where they're cut off from those other benefits, they're actually worse off than they were. Okay, so I mean that's just an interesting reality.
Well, and another thing I was thinking about is you talk about the cutoff rate. It means more federal dollars go to people in other states, and not so much in Washington and Oregon, where that is really put back onto the businesses to pay the higher wages.
It is, and you know, I think both Washington and Oregon are donor states to the federal budget. I think we send them more money than we get back already. So,
well, Senator, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Thank you, and have a great day, and we thank you for watching. I'm Dana Cowley, and this is Charter Local Edition Northwest in Salem, Oregon.